Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? It is Monday, July 27th, 2015. People, lots of stuff going on here. The stock market here in the United States has fallen now for 6 consecutive days. And the pattern that it is following is somewhat worrisome. And I did tell you that this would most likely happen, and it's playing out almost exactly like I said it would. If you follow this blog or my Seeking Alpha blog, you know I called the recent top of this market almost to the day. I also went over how I did that. I discussed with you the Dow transports and Dow theory. And again, that is something that is also playing into what is occurring right now. I had also said in an article on Seeking Alpha and here, I would not be surprised if the market tried to retest its recent highs from when I called at the top and then pull back further. And that's exactly what has happened here. It's uncanny, seriously. Look, I'm not right all the time. No investor or trader is, but with this, it's been frankly unbelievable almost. But it's documented and proven for anyone out there who is a skeptic, and I know there are many of you out there. Just check out my work. I said this would happen, and it is. Okay. With that in mind, we need to put other things into perspective here because all of this plays in together. Let's just talk about what is occurring here with the Chinese markets. Something else I have covered here on this blog and Seeking Alpha. The Chinese government has, well, we're all aware of this, stepped in unprecedented what they are doing to try to prop up their markets, not allowing short selling to take place, not allowing shareholders with more than 5% stake in a company to sell their stock. Large swathes of their markets are not being allowed to be traded, and they're forcing brokerages to buy stock. This kind of intervention is frankly ridiculous and desperate. When I had heard about this, I said right here, it would not work. And it's not working because last night, the Shanghai Composite fell 8.5%. Could you imagine if that would have happened here in the US markets? It will at one point. But if we had a one-day sell-off of 8.5%, first of all, the mainstream financial pundits would be running around with their hair on fire. And there would be panic. There's no doubt about it. But pay attention to what's going on here with the U.S. equity markets. 6 consecutive days, the Dow transports continue their downward trajectory. Now, there's a lot of people out here who, for some reason unknown to me, do not believe in Dow theory. But my challenge to all of you out there is this. Find me one instance, just one, in history where Dow theory has been disproven. Anytime we have had a sustained downward trajectory, sustained in the Dow transport, so we have had months of it now, the major indices have followed. I challenge anyone out there who does not believe in Dow theory to prove me wrong and put the evidence right here so everyone can see it. Because the last time I spoke about Dow theory, there were a lot of people writing here, well, I don't believe in Dow theory, and it doesn't apply to now. Why? Please explain to me why it doesn't apply till now. Why? Because everything is manipulated? It's always been manipulated. There's no difference. Ever. These markets have been rigged since day one, and they will never stop being rigged until this whole thing ends. Period. So Dow theory certainly does apply here. And again, that's how I called this recent market top. And that's how I was able to say what would happen. Now, keep this in mind. I am not saying, once again, all of you people out there who are going to jump all over it, that the market isn't going to, again, maybe gain, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe 3 or 4 consecutive days. But the trajectory here is lower. It will follow the transports lower. As long as the transports continue down, the major indices are now going to follow, period. Again, please, anyone out there who does not believe in Dow theory, prove me wrong. That is my challenge here. And don't just give me, I mean, really, you have to do your little research here. Tell me when, ever throughout history, where we have had a sustained downward trend in the transports that the major indices have not followed. I can tell you right now and save you a lot of time, it has never happened. But again, please try to prove me wrong. With that said, people, again, we need to be cautious about what we're seeing here with regard to the global markets, with regard to the debt crisis that is engulfing the world right now, that the world central banks who have directly intervened in this market to try to keep it propped up. Again, I wrote an article earlier today, about 20 minutes ago, as a matter of fact, where I went over all this stuff. What I'm trying to get to here, and it's pretty simple, no matter what action any world central bank colluding with their government or a government themselves tries to do to intervene with the free market or any market will end in absolute disaster. It is a mathematical certainty. Understand, people, please understand this. The only job of these markets is what? If you follow this blog, you know what it is. To determine fair market value. I don't care what aspect or what sector you're looking at, or if you're looking at housing or debt or currency, one and the same, or whatever it might be, precious metals, anything. One job and one job only to determine fair market value. We have world central banks who have gotten so desperate. Let's talk about the Federal Reserve just real quick. Almost a decade of suppressed interest rates. There's going to be a terrible price to pay for this. In the end, it won't work. It cannot work. Just like we're seeing with China's government trying to fix their market and try to prop it up and still drops 8.5%. What we saw was a massive 30% drop in the Chinese markets in 30 days. The government decided to get in there and try to prop it up. It worked. Worked for a little while because, again, people were getting ahead of themselves. They want to believe that the party might be over, and now all of a sudden, whammo. And we could see this can play out further here. What else is the government going to do? Stop trading altogether, only allow buying, which they're doing already, no selling. And the same thing is occurring here on a global scale. So something horrible is coming, people. And I mean horrible to you, to every member of your family, and everyone that you know. Again, when this whole thing corrects itself to fair market value, because all this has been stimulated and propped up way beyond the point of ridiculousness. You can only imagine, if you have a few functioning brain cells, which I know you do, if you follow this blog or my Seeking Alpha blog, you know where this is going to go. So again, people, become your own central bank. Bet against this debt. Take advantage of these manipulated prices. And I did a whole video about this, just my last one, in an article on Seeking Alpha, how they did it, how they actually caused the gold and silver to sell off the way that they did. It is unbelievable. But again, embrace it. Let them do whatever they want to do. Let them play whatever games they want to play. Because in the long run, there is no possible way, none, that the free market is not going to do its sole job of determining fair market value. So I don't care what they try to do, how they try to manipulate metals or the markets themselves or the debt market or whatever central banks do, colluding with their governments or governments themselves. It won't work. It doesn't matter. So just sit back and laugh at all this, people. I'm telling you, because I know if you follow this blog, you have a clear idea, more than an idea, a perspective that most people by and large have not the slightest clue about, and that puts you light years ahead of them. Anyway, before I let you go, please check out that article I wrote on Seeking Alpha about all this stuff. There is a link in the description of this video and in the comment section. If you think any of this is important, share it. Let's get it out there and comment here. Let your voice be heard. Please, I'm urging you to use this blog, which has a pretty big audience globally, to let your voice be heard. All right, with that said, see you soon.